Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Stronghold podcast. It has been a little while there, Jake, since we were able to put on a podcast.
It has.
Well, welcome. We're back in the house.
Back, finally both back in Singapore.
You went on vacation.
I did.
Then I went on vacation.
Yep.
And, so sorry for the little bit of a hiatus there, but we're back. We got all kinds of cool stuff to talk about on the podcast today because it's been so long since we've done a podcast. We're just coming off of the UFC, Adesanya versus Pereira. We'll definitely talk about that fight. I saw some crazy fights when I was in Phuket, Thailand for John Nutt and Will Chope's Fight Circus, which I have some crazy videos of that I will share with you guys. We had Jake Paul knocking down Anderson Silva in the last little bit. 2 championship changes in the UFC today. And I must be missing some stuff.
Yeah, so much.
What else have we missed in the last couple of weeks? What's it been?
Was there a one?
3 weeks since we've done a podcast? I don't even think we've talked about Islam Makhachev and Volkanovski yet, or Charles Oliveira. So we got a ton of stuff for you guys. We're happy to be back. Thank you all for listening. And thank you all for blowing up that video I did as well. Islam Makhachev finishing Charles Oliveira. That thing's got like 200,000 views right now. Subscribers shot way up. So if this is the first podcast that you've listened to since checking out that video, I hope you guys enjoy it. It's usually just me and Jake talking a bunch of shit and getting smashed. But Jake got 2 smashed at the Guns N' Roses concert last night.
That is inaccurate. I deliberately poisoned myself to get drunk, knowing full well I'd throw up when I got home. So that was a brilliant plan on my part.
Jake's got such a sensitive palate that he can't handle like 4 tigers without vomiting after he goes back home.
It's more embarrassing than that. I reckon two tigers is my limit, and then I throw up. It's bizarre.
That's a crazy reaction. I understand Tiger's not exactly premium quality beer, but that's a crazy reaction to have.
There's something in it that I am allergic to, but I'm also maybe a functioning alcoholic. So if it's the only thing to drink, I'll drink it anyway, then just be sick when I get home. Guilt-free drinking. Well, zero calories.
You just need classier booze, man. That's the secret. You need
that's the problem, though, at an arena. That's that.
Yeah, Guns N' Roses, they're not exactly concerned with the sophistication of your palate. Actually, when I went back to buy those beers, they told me they were sold out, and I was like, what? I almost had a panic attack. I'm like, you're sold out of beer at a Guns N' Roses concert after an hour? Yeah, but then they had a secret stash, and they hooked us up.
Good.
Pretty good show, all things considered.
Slash is
amazing still.
Just when you sat and you're watching something and it's live and you're like, okay, I'm in the presence of greatness now. Yeah.
And Axel, better than I thought.
Yes,
he pulled it off better than I thought. He looks like he's about 100, and he looks like a lesbian grandma. He did about 5. He did about 5 clothing changes during the song. Every time a big song would come on, he would come out in some weird ass new shirt.
If there is a shining advert for sobriety, though, it's Duff McKagan, because he's the one who actually looks really good, and he's the only one who plays all the way through the concert.
Looked healthy. They did 3 hours.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Which was pretty sweet.
Yep.
Oh, and I'm fucking obsessed with the God of War new game that just came out, God of War Ragnarok. So I've had a lot going on the last couple of weeks, because as soon as I came back the day that shit came out, and luckily I still had the day off, so I just downloaded it, boom, immediately, and I've been playing that nonstop any waking hour that I can.
To add to the excitement, I got attacked by bees yesterday. That was terrifying.
I saw your bee stings on Instagram or whatever.
Yeah, I was walking the dog, and I finished the walk, and then I thought, I'll just walk the long way around the park near the trees, get into nature. No, I forgot nature's a savage beast that cares nothing for mankind. And I felt something like, there must be a thorn in the tree. And then I had buzzing and felt pain all over my head and back, and just like whipped my shirt off over my head, ragging it all over.
Take off running. You have to.
Lost my AirPods and everything. It hurt.
That's one of those things where you always think, like, I wouldn't respond in a big way until you start hearing that sound in your ear, and then you're like, fuck, and you just bolt immediately.
Full on, like, running. Didn't care who was looking through the park back to my house.
Listen, none of your jiu-jitsu or kickboxing is going to save you from a bee.
Jiu-jitsu does not work against bees.
Speaking of jiu-jitsu not working, which
segue.
I, by the way, I completely disagree with. Jiu-jitsu is awesome. It's amazing. But what jiu-jitsu does not work against is more than one opponent. So just to give a little background to the videos that I'm about to show you, I was just in Phuket, Thailand. I went there because I was supposed to go and corner Rob Deagle, who's been on the podcast. He actually came and trained with me today. He was supposed to be on the podcast, but he said some stuff came up and he had to go. So I was going to go there to corner him for the ADCC in Thailand. And then he ended up getting injured through the training, not at my gym, but he just got injured. And so he thought he wasn't going to be able to go. So I was like, well, I already took the time off work. I'll just go for my birthday because my birthday is the 5th of November. And that's exactly the day of the tournament. So I was just go anyway. And then so me and the wife and a friend ended up going. And Will Chope, who's been on this podcast, he fought Max Holloway in the UFC. He's one of the most versatile fighters in all of MMA. He has over 100 fights, kickboxing, Muay Thai. He did this crazy one for Fight Circus, which is what we're about to watch, where he fought 2 people at once. And I thought this is going to be a really interesting little social experiment here, because to actually think of like what it's like to fight 2 people at once, it really, really put how poorly jiu-jitsu is able to manage more than one person. One-on-one, unhand combat, jiu-jitsu fucks the world, right? Like one-on-one, unarmed combat, jiu-jitsu is without a question one of the most effective martial arts that there is.
If the other person doesn't know jiu-jitsu, you legitimately have a superpower, is how effective it is.
It's like playing with a child.
Yeah.
Wrestling is the same way, right? If you're a good wrestler and the other person doesn't know what's going on, they're going to be on their back in a minute. And I don't care if you've never done a submission in your life, if you end up in a street fight and on top of somebody, you're going to be punching them in the head and they're not going to be able to get you off of them, right? So wrestling, sambo, judo, jiu-jitsu, one-on-one, single combat, unarmed, it's super effective. However, as we are about to see here in a second, when you deal with 2 people striking you at once, especially in a relatively confined space, staying on your feet is paramount to success and to not getting your ass kicked. Because John Nutt, this crazy motherfucker who is the head of his MMA promotion, I don't even know if I should call it an MMA promotion. So let me give you a layout of what I saw, okay, when I went to Fight Circus. The first thing I saw was like, I don't want to know if I should say this word, dwarfs, midgets. Small people. Yeah. They were fighting. They were all dressed up like superheroes.
Nice.
Lined up on the stage. Bob Sapp was there, like picking them up and throwing them around. And like, Bob Sapp looks shredded, by the way. Bob Sapp is ripped. He's still on all that juice. Looked like he's about 300 pounds. So Bob Sapp was there. I saw an Indian leg wrestling match between 2 OnlyFans girls, which was awful. It was just awful. It was a terrible, terrible thing.
I feel like I might regret this question. What is Indian leg wrestling?
Why don't you pull it up, Jake? Because I feel like that's the only way to really give it justice. Indian leg wrestling is that thing that where you both lay on your back and you like interlock into like a 50-50, right? So we're like scissoring, but we're both on our back. And then we both like stretch our legs and you try to roll the person. So you're doing like a...
Which one is it? No.
Oh, no. I didn't record it. You just have to Google this.
Oh, okay.
I didn't record the Indian leg wrestling because it was just weird. It didn't work right. You could tell they had this idea that it would be fun and hilarious to get OnlyFans girls doing this Indian leg wrestling thing. But they didn't know what they were doing. They were not doing it right. They were like extending their legs in the wrong direction. Yeah, this is it. See that? Yes, exactly.
I feel like that needs to go up on screen.
Yeah, right? Okay, so if you're listening to this podcast, we're going to throw it up on the screen here in a second.
It's on.
It's on now? Okay, nice. Yeah, so you can see here, they both just interlock hamstrings. They're both laying flat on their back facing in opposite directions. And then they both extend their legs and try to roll the other one.
Okay.
But you have to like push into the person in order to actually roll them. And the girls didn't know what they were doing. And they both their legs kept coming untangled. And it just ended up being lame. But, so we saw that. Then I saw this transgender fighter called Nong Rose, who actually you can find a lot of stuff on YouTube with her. She used to be a male Muay Thai fighter in Thailand and then became a ladyboy. And for any of you PC cunts that say, I can't use the word ladyboy, how dare you? That is what they call themselves. Yes. I've had this conversation with people and had some woke idiot get annoyed with me for using the term ladyboy. They're like, no, they're trans. That's offensive. And I'm like, fuck you. You have no idea what you're talking about. Ladyboys have existed in Thailand longer than your woke-ass stupid shit, and that's what they call themselves if you ask them. So, that point aside. So, Nong Rose is a transgender female now Muay Thai fighter, and she fought against a guy. I don't know if I have the video of that either. I might have a little bit of it. I think I only sent you the 2-on-1 fight,
Yeah, I think I've only got
that. So, yeah, midgets fighting, Bob Sapp throwing them around and being weird. OnlyFans girls, Indian leg wrestling, 2-on-1 MMA fights. Oh, this is another great one that they had, right? So they're just doing crazy shit. Yep. It's literally called Fight Circus, okay? Yep. And that's exactly what it is. This is pure lowbrow entertainment, okay? You're not going there to see world champions. You're going there to have a good time and see some crazy shit. as only you can in Phuket, right? Like Thailand.
Yeah, God bless Thailand.
And so, and the other one, which was kind of genius, was they had this big, like, Wheel of Fortune wheel where you would spin, and each thing on the wheel was a different, like, combat martial arts. Like, one was spinning attacks only, right? One of them was, like, 3-minute Muay Thai. One of them was 3-minute MMA. One of them was just, like, kicks only. One of them was, like, they had all these crazy things that they would do. And between every round, they would spin the wheel, and it would change the rules of the fight. And the best one was spinning attacks only.
Yeah.
Now, they could throw other strikes, but the spinning attacks were the only thing that scored. Which is better. It's better to do it that way, because then that can set them up.
Yeah.
I mean, if all you can throw is spinning attacks, it's just going to get ridiculous, right? It's just going to be like... So anyway, this is John Nutt's show. If you haven't seen this, you should watch it. Will Chope is involved in it. Again, an alumni of the podcast. He was a referee. And what I have for the video here is John Nutt, who also was the commentator for my last fight in Singapore. John Nutt did the commentary for that, and he does a lot of ring announcing and shit like that, but he still fights, and he's like, I don't know, in his 40s. He's got his gray hair, and he's wearing MMA gloves, if you're just listening to this, wearing MMA gloves and a suit.
Yeah, he appears to be in a very nice suit there. Barefoot, though, so...
And he's standing across from two, like, smaller, like, Thai fighters, right? And to be fair, you have to go 2 smaller people versus 1 big person. It's the only way you can have, like, a chance. But this is John Nutt's show, okay? So everybody was kind of like low-key whispering, like, okay, how's it actually going to go? John Nutt's like older, you know, he's not exactly like a pro fighter, and he's getting in there with these two, and they're going to beat the shit out of the guy paying him, like all this kind of stuff. Well, let me tell you, as you are about to see, they were trying to kill each other. It is fucking entertaining. Okay, and if you're listening to this podcast, maybe I'll release this as a clip. I'm sure John would love the free promotion, and it was so entertaining. I'm happy to share it. So we're about to start this. This is John Nutt fighting 2 people in an MMA fight.
Oh, we can commentate. It'd be fun.
Oh, I'd love to. All right, let's check this out.
All right.
So it starts off with a big push kick. He's just trying to keep both of them in front of him.
Oh,
and one of them clinches. Oh,
that's a very short clip.
Okay, I think the next ones are the better one. So the trick with this is, right, you have to keep both of them in front of you.
Yeah.
If anybody gets behind you, that's where everything bad's going to happen. Okay, this is 2 minutes, so we could kind of skip around in here. But there's a few... Anyway, we'll just watch this. So you can see John's trying to stick and move, right? Oh, look at that head kick. I mean, he just kneed him in the head. Now the guy's in on a single, and John Nutt is just swinging haymakers. He's like going over the ropes.
Trying to double guillotine.
He's trying to double guillotine.
Oh, now he's got problems.
But now they're both on top of him, and now one of them's trying to take his back and mount him and choke him, and the other one's trying to hammer fist him, and then they stopped right there. They stopped right there because look at John. He's wearing his tie. John Nutt is still wearing his tie.
Obviously choking with that.
So, okay. Now this gets me to my point of the sort of martial arts nugget that I took out of this, and we'll watch more of it. We're not done yet. Which is that if you're in a street fight and 2 people are involved, don't pull guard. Do not go to the ground. Do not go to the ground. This is when you would have to know a little bit of striking, or you have to be have pretty good cardio so you can run away.
Yeah.
Those are going to be your best options if you're dealing with an actual. Like a street fight situation with multiple foes. If you try to grab a hold of somebody, as soon as I commit my hands to you and I grab my hands to you, all the other person has to do is just go behind you because I'm locked up with you. Yeah. I'm facing this person.
Yeah.
Right? So I can't also defend my back unless you're able to. You remember the video of the guy dressed up as like Spider-Man in Russia beating the shit out of 2 people dressed like Batman and Robin? Have you ever seen this video?
No.
Oh my God. Okay. Please, Jake, if you would don't mind my digression here. So some of you guys have probably seen this. It's like a meme video. I've seen it on Instagram a bunch of times. It's a guy dressed as Superman doing like a kickboxing fight against 2 guys. One's Batman, one's Robin. And when I watched this fight, first of all, it was hilarious. And second of all, I got a really interesting martial arts insight because this guy did a genius thing. What he did is when one of the guys tried to grab a hold of him, he put him in a Thai clinch. And he put him in a Muay Thai plum. And then he would like twist the plum as the guy and create a barrier between the guy that was trying to attack him. Right, so once he grabbed him, when the other guy tried to go around, he would just turn the guy, and then boom, knee him. And then when the guy would try to spin around him, boom, he would turn and knee him. No, I think you have to type in Spider-Man versus Batman and Robin MMA or something like that. It's a pretty well-known, hilarious internet video. Yeah. This is it.
This one?
This is it. Is there like a clip or something so we don't have to? We can't. I don't think we can show the whole thing.
No, probably not.
Aussie Man did a video on it. Okay, just put it on for a second so we can take a look at it. So if you're listening to this, Spider-Man versus Batman and Robin, MMA, and then we'll just show a little bit of it where he tries to clinch up with them.
Let me find the clip.
I think it's at the beginning. Yeah. So see how he right here. This is it. See how he spins him and keeps him in front.
1 second. Okay, now the viewers can see.
Okay. So see how he grabs him and puts him in a clinch? See, he's trying to keep both guys in front of him, right? You can't let a guy flank you. So he's moving on the outside. He's kind of slapping him, sticking him, and moving him. This is how you have to fight two people. This is the only way. Now watch this. He clinches him. He turns with him. Boom. He keeps him in front. Boom. He keeps kneeing him. He keeps him between them. See that?
Yeah.
That is genius. Oh, okay. I think we probably. Oh shit. I think we probably have to
start spinning his axe. It's awesome.
Yeah. So shout out to this dude. You guys can see click the channel, Jake, so that way anybody that sees this can go watch his video or whatever. I don't want to steal anybody's shit. I just wanted to show like a 5-second thing so you could see my chiseled Adonis. A lot of other people have shared it. I don't understand how I couldn't also commentate on it or whatever. Some of the YouTube rules are really weird.
It's very strange.
Yeah. Anyway, so my point was, that is how you have to fight two people. Actually, like clinching up chest to chest, any sort of groundwork, that is going to be a disaster. Now let's go to the end of the fight with John Nutt and the two guys.
Was that not the end? I'm confused.
No, you can put. I think it's in the same video.
You
just can go further. Yeah. So, is he already out here? Okay, so go to the end of the last video. Okay. We only watched about 30 seconds of it. I believe it's that one.
This one.
Yeah. So let's check out the last minute of this, and bear with me if you're just.
Oh, is he out there? Where is it? So.
No, there's a 6-minute one I thought or something like that.
This is the end though, surely.
That's it. They did a rematch.
He's where he goes for the double guillotine.
Oh man, I thought I had a better one. Is there no other ones? It's just those three, right?
Yeah, just those three.
Oh shit, I must not have got the good one from Charmaine. Anyway, fuck, I wish I had the better one. Because John Nutt, right, gets up after he just got his ass beat by these two dudes. And he gets up and he's like, oh, that was a great fight, guys. Or someone is on the mic. And he says, but because of the situation that we're in, we have an immediate rematch clause. And then John Nutt gets up again. And the same thing happens. But the second one, dude, John Nutt is going berserker mode on these guys. Yeah. He is swinging everything he has at these guys. They're on the ground. They're all going. And the guys are doing the same thing to him. That was the first one. I think the second one is where it really gets crazy. But what a show.
How soon until, because it's Thailand and all that, are they going to have someone fight a monkey?
Oh, I wouldn't want to fight a monkey. That could
no,
go
not
bad.
a chimp. That'd murder you. But like maybe 2 spider monkeys with knives, sellotape to the hands. That's where they're going with it.
I think that would just be, that'd be entertaining.
I'd watch it.
But they're doing all kinds of crazy shit, Fight Circus. So if that's the thing you're into, if you're into freak show fights, and I know those guys, right? I know the guys that are like the purists that won't watch amateur MMA or whatever because they're like, oh, these fucking noobs or whatever. Listen, it's entertainment. That was damn entertaining. Everybody's drunk. Everybody's high. It's Thailand. Weed's legal now. So everybody's smoking everywhere. The whole arena just smelled like weed.
Yeah.
It was insane. And everybody's high. Everybody's drunk. Everybody's watching this just
freak show fights.
So John Nutt, I'm a little bit of a weirdo, man. I approve of what you're doing. I love it. Bring it on, man. Keep it going. Keep up the crazy. The world needs more people like you. All right, man. Should we get to something that's not better, but we can all probably agree slightly upper class,
slightly more classy?
Yeah, let's go to the UFC today. We got to talk about the huge fight today. One of the biggest fight cards of the year.
Where do you want to start?
UFC 281, Israel Adesanya versus Alex Pereira, and god damn it, everybody, Alex Pereira does it again. 3 wins over Izzy. Jake, do me a favor. Look up Israel Adesanya's kickboxing record. His kickboxing if you can. Because that would mean, I believe it's like 70 and like 8 or something like that. It's something crazy, right? So there's only a few men on the earth who've ever beaten Izzy at any point in his career. And Alex Pereira has got most of the wins over this guy. Probably half. Okay, almost half. No, that can't be right. I thought he had a better record than that. 23-11? Is that right?
I don't know. What is?
Can you click that top one?
Israel Adesanya's.
That
there
looks
you go.
better.
80, 1 loss, 75 wins.
And then what? Some no contest or something?
Yeah, it must have been.
Okay, so this is what we're looking at Wikipedia here. I thought he had more. He definitely has more than that because Pereira beat him twice. Can you go? Yeah, go down to his kickboxing record and let's see.
Boxing, kickboxing.
Go down. Keep going down. Keep going. That's his MMA record. And then kickboxing should be below that. Yeah. Okay, so what's the record there if you just go...
Yeah, he's still saying 75 wins,
5 losses 75. Okay, so 75 and 5.
80 fights total.
So that means that Alex Pereira has 2 of those losses. So 3 other people have beat him in kickboxing. And the only people that beat him in MMA are Jan Blachowicz and then Alex Pereira again. And this was such a crazy fight. And the moral of the story that I got from this fight, Jake, was twofold. One, defense that hurts your opponent is just so critical. This fight changed instantly when Pereira checked that low kick. And then Izzy fell down. And what happened there was like a little bit of a mental switch. Because Izzy had been comfortable the whole fight. He had a round, maybe you could argue he lost second round. Because Pereira got on top at the end there. He got that takedown.
Got the takedown right at the end, and that's what won him. But
it was a close round. Yeah. Nobody really landed a ton, and then Pereira got the takedown, right? And so Izzy was up 3-1. He knows he's got 5 minutes to retain. And everything is going good until it's not. And then Pereira checks that low kick, which hurt his foot bad. I don't know if it's foot or it's his shin.
Yeah.
But listen, if you're not checking kicks, like blocking kicks with your forearms is stupid. It's stupid. This is one thing the Thais have right. Blocking kicks with your knees is the move because it hurts so bad. It's just, you can injure people with it if you know how to block just right. I mean, look at Conor McGregor. Look at Chris Weidman. And all of the ones that don't break the leg that you don't see when you're just a regular person watching it, you probably don't even realize how much it sucks.
It's a miserable
the worst
thing when you do it.
And it happens in every fight, and people just don't understand how much a check kick, deters you kicking in the future, right? Because you get 1 or 2 checks. It happened in the Michael Chandler-Poirier fight, too. Chandler threw a kick, Poirier checked it, and then you didn't see Chandler throw a kick again. Exactly, and they even called it out on the commentary. And so once that check, the check happened, all of a sudden Izzy's dropped. He got dropped from the check. He fell over, right? And as soon as that happened, all of a sudden Izzy's in really heightened alert. He's starting to get to that fight or flight panic state. He's not in control anymore.
Yeah.
Right? And then as soon as he gets up, Pereira's in his face now because he hurt him with the low kick. He hurt it with blocking the low kick. And then Izzy throws another kick. Pereira checks it again. This time you don't see the same physical reaction from Izzy, but I know that shit hurt. It was a full-on check. I watched it in slow motion. And so then, again, Pereira's swarming him. And now Izzy's in I'm not saying he's panicked. He's still there. He's still keeping it under control.
But he's not in control.
He's not in control. Yeah. Exactly. And then he's shelled up against the fence. All of these punches come through. This big left hook cracks him, and you start to see him go. And then another right hook hits him, and then he gets dropped. And then he comes up, and another uppercut lands. And then all of a sudden, he's looking down at the ground, and they step in and they stop the fight. But that is aggressive defense that just changed the flow of the fight, which we've seen many times with well-defended kicks.
Yep.
Right? So I thought that was the moral of the story. And then to go back on my jiu-jitsu is shit thing that I said earlier, whatever I said, I think, and this is an interesting little spin I thought, I mentioned it to you earlier. How do you think the fight would have finished if when Izzy got his leg checked and he fell down and Pereira came in to try to finish him and Izzy tied him up on the ground? Do you think Izzy could have made it to the bell with his defense?
Because Pereira's ground game did not look impressive at all.
All Izzy had to do was survive the round.
Yeah, all he had to do was hit the round out. So if you'd have followed him down to the ground, Izzy's good enough to tie him up and hold him there and not get damaged, I'd say.
I'm not going to say Pereira couldn't finish him on the ground with strikes, but it seems unlikely.
Less likely than on the feet.
Yes,
on the feet,
and so you're hurt, and you jump back up into your feet, and now this kickboxing demon has you hurt and in front of you, and he's got 2 or 3 minutes to finish you, and he can empty the gas tank, and he can throw 100%, and you're a wounded animal.
Yeah.
Against a guy who's a terrifying kickboxer. Man, I think if Izzy had taken a page out of the book of Charles Oliveira, and he kept his legs between him when he went down, and he just clinched him on the ground. Even if he gets mounted, gives up his back, gets mounted again, gets the half guard, gives up the side control, all he's got to do is survive. And if he just took away Pereira's space, with clinching on the ground, grabbing a hold of him, instead of giving him the distance to put him back up against the cage and then set up his big left hook, which is what caused the problem. So this is an example of Izzy using his MMA skills where he could have used his jiu-jitsu to survive to win, rather than like getting up and trying to survive on the feet. Why would you, as a wounded animal, get up and try to and give Pereira his A game when you're hurt?
Yeah.
Make him try to pass your guard. Keep your feet up. Even if he kicks your legs and dives on top of you or asks you to stand up, even if he walks back and lets you stand up, guess what? You've got space now. When Pereira the referee will go step back a little bit, right? And then Izzy can kind of get up, and now you have a whole octagon to work with. Instead, you get up, and now he's right in your fucking face, right? I think if he had just chose to try to engage Pereira on the ground, he'd still be a champ right now.
I think his bigger mistake was not trying to get Pereira out of there in the third and fourth round. He realised, because his last few fights have gone 5 rounds. It's been a while since he's actually finished someone.
Is it Paulo Costa? Was that his last finish?
Yeah, something like that. He was before he fought Blachowicz. I know that. And I think he's so comfortable, and he's so good at not getting hit, and he's so good at just controlling the fight, pat, come out, scoring. But it was a mistake against Pereira. He should have been trying to put him out in the third.
You mean Adesanya? It was a mistake.
It was a mistake by Adesanya in the fight to not try and get Pereira out of it in the third and fourth round when he was controlling the fight. He was controlling the fight, so he thought, I'll point it through to the end again. But that's a big mistake when the guy you're going against knows he can knock you out on the feet, and he's going into the last round and can just empty the tank on you.
Yeah, that's true. It's a good thing about the conditioning in that, because it seemed like Pereira was maybe taking that fourth round off a little bit. Off. Yeah, I mean, it's all ifs and what ifs and everything, but all we can say now is that Pereira is the middleweight champion of the world in 8 fights. That's got to be the quickest Brock is the quickest. I think Brock had 5 fights. Brock Lesnar, I think when he beat Randy Couture for the title, was like 3 or 4 and 1. But he's close.
Yeah.
He's close to Brock Lesnar. And I mentioned it to you before we started the podcast. I think now you have to have Alex Pereira in the conversation of best combat sports athlete of all time. The man is a 2-division glory kickboxing champion, and he won the UFC championship in 8 fights.
Yeah, but
against arguably the most dominant middleweight of all time, him or Anderson Silva. It's one of those two. There's no question about it.
Yeah. I think, though, I don't think he holds the belt for very long. From what we saw of his wrestling in there, if he goes in against someone who's got good wrestling and good ground game, he's going to have a hard time.
Well, I agree with you. He might not last forever, because he's definitely not looked like Adesanya all the way through his run looked untouchable.
Yeah.
Even through like his most recent fights, the Jan Blachowicz fight notwithstanding. But that's a big guy. He just took him down.
Screwy though.
He just took him down a couple times. He's huge. Yeah. It's whatever. Like, we all can just see that for what it is, right? And accept it for what it is. But against Bruno Silva, Alex Pereira lost some of the striking. Adesanya was really piecing him up there a little bit. He was definitely more technical. He was out-voluming him. I mean, I think that 4th round, Pereira threw like 15 punches.
But you always worry as well that when a guy gets taken down and goes to the ground, his only solution is, I'm just going to power up.
Yeah.
Because that's what he was doing today. And that works against some people, but it doesn't work against good grapplers.
Yeah, and I mean, Adesanya got on top of him, right? He's not exactly known as an amazing wrestler. But, I mean, you think of guys like Derek Brunson or even Rob, right, who could probably use distance control, really good footwork, and have a similar type thing, but he can mix in the wrestling as well.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see what they do now. I mean, I think you got to give Izzy the rematch.
Yeah.
People are saying, it's 3-0, but it's not MMA.
No.
And everybody knows that Adesanya was winning that fight, and it's a bigger fight now that it's the rematch than it was the first time. And I don't really think anybody in that middleweight division has earned a title shot other than him, because he beat everybody in that division recently.
Yeah.
Everybody in the top 5, Adesanya's beaten recently. So I think, you got to do that rematch. He'll probably get it right away, and Izzy has another chance to right the wrong. But if Izzy loses to him again, then it's going to be tough.
Imagine if he loses in the same way again. He's winning 4 rounds, then gets knocked
out by the left hook in the 5th round.
But there's always someone who's there's always someone who's got your number. It's like Holloway can't beat Volkanovski. Whittaker can't beat Adesanya. Maybe this is the guy Adesanya can't beat.
Yeah, everybody's got their sort of kryptonite style-wise, and it seems like Pereira is that for Adesanya, but which is hilarious, because The first kickboxing fight, a lot of people thought Adesanya won, Pereira won. The second fight, Adesanya was definitely winning, and then he got knocked out. The third fight, he was definitely winning, and then he got knocked out. So it's like, Pereira's just got that killer instinct. And he finds the right time to hurt you, and when he hurts you, he doesn't let you off the hook.
If Izzy comes back in, though, and he's actually, like, in his earlier career, when he was knocking people out and stuff like that, if he comes back in like that, that'd be brilliant.
It would be interesting to see Izzy accept a firefight again.
Yeah. Which
may not be the best way to beat Alex Pereira, but we all kind of long for the...
Be exciting, though.
I mean, don't you just miss the Kelvin Gastelum, Israel Adesanya? Like, that version of him where he was just like, fuck this, we're going to war, and you're not going to kill me. Like, that was how his legacy was initially built on. And then it's a lot of just kind of...
But Champ Adesanya, you don't want to lose that belt. You don't want to lose that money. You don't want to take the big risk in a fight, not when you're as good as him and you can outpoint people.
Nor should you, but you only see, like, glimpses of that Adesanya these days.
Yeah.
It's a little bit like GSP. It happened to GSP too.
Same thing.
So sometimes when you get that belt, you can't take high risks, and that's part of your job is mitigating the risks and trying to, make sure that the highest percentage chance of you winning exists and that you manifest that, right?
I understand why he does it, but now hopefully he's lost the belt. He's got to win the belt back. Let's go back to old school, is it?
Yeah, that would be nice. Would be nice. Either way, what a story, and I very much doubt that this story has reached its final chapter, so I suspect we'll see them again, probably in like less than 6 months.
Yeah, he wasn't badly hurt.
Nah, I think he's all right. So, all right, let's get to the co-main event. I think everybody kind of saw this coming. Zhang Weili beats Carla Esparza with a sweet-ass crucifix rear naked choke.
Yeah, she tried it earlier in it as well and tried crucifixing her.
Yeah, it's a cool move. It's a cool look too. Like it's interesting. Dope. Yeah, it looks dope, right? Major's really good at those. He's got a really good crucifix. That Barrett Yoshida student, they all have great crucifixes. Those guys. Something you don't really see much in MMA, so it's pretty sweet to see that. And I think we all knew Carla was going to be outmatched here. We all kind of know, and I don't mean no disrespect to Carla. She's a 2-time champ, but that Rose Namajunas thing was just weird.
Yeah,
it was weird. Like we all kind of know Rose is the better fighter. She just has mental collapses sometimes. I mean, she beat Zhang Weili twice.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. That division is weird now. Because what do? Rose and Zhang Weili again? Does Rose deserve that after that last fight? You just throw her right back in there? I mean, it was a split decision, and she's marketable in that division. But she beat Zhang Weili twice, which is kind of weird how that kind of favors Zhang Weili in the matchup here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So even though she beat her twice, you would have really...
Rose just needs to take time off and work on that,
Maybe leave Pat Barry. Maybe leave Pat Barry.
Yeah, because
seems like they got some toxic shit going on.
His advice in that fight when she was fighting him was awful. Do you remember it? He's like, "Oh, you're dominating, you're winning."
Yeah.
And I'm like, watching it going, she's not throwing any punches. She's just dancing back and forward.
Yeah.
What's she winning?
Yeah, and then it was, which I'm okay with that for a couple rounds because she's trying to draw Carla in, right, and control the range. I know what she's trying to do, but at that point you're talking about in between the corners. That's like going into the fourth round or going into the third round or something like that. And Trevor Whitman's like, "Hey, we need to pick up the pace here," and Pat Barry's like, "Oh, you're doing this fine.
It's beautiful. Don't worry about it."
And it's like, no.
You don't need to punch the other person.
It was fine up to that point, but we got to kick up the gears here, man.
Yep.
Like you can't be in her corner, dude.
Yeah,
you're too close to this.
That was some terrible cornering.
Yeah, you're not seeing the full picture here because you're emotionally connected to this. You need to separate yourself from her, at least in the corner, right?
Says the man who corners his wife.
Yeah, but if I could see myself doing that, I would step out. I would have no issue stepping out, like zero. And I'm not opposed to Pat Barry training her, but you shouldn't be in her corner, man. Don't be in her corner. And probably don't be in a relationship together because you seem a little rough. Did you see them fighting on Ariel Helwani's podcast?
No,
Did you see them bickering? Oh, dude, it was so cringe. I think they're like... Pat Barry is the one being interviewed in the video, right? And, so, they're just... Pat Barry's talking or whatever, and Rose is like in the background, and Helwani or someone in the interview said something... And then Rose kind of answered, and then Pat goes like, "Oh, I thought it was my turn to talk. Is he interviewing me or is he interviewing Rose?" And it's just like bickering shit that all couples do, right? But nobody wants to watch because it's just fucking cringe. And after you see a little bit of that, you're just like, "Oh, dude, I don't know." You got to just make a hard business decision here. It doesn't mean you can't be together, but you shouldn't be in the corner. And you're certainly not her head coach.
Yeah.
Trevor Whitman is her head coach, and everything should defer to him. And if you're saying things that contradict him, you need to go. You need to get out of that corner. It doesn't mean you're a bad person. It just means that you're creating weird chemistry here that's not helpful to Rose, who's the one in the fight, right, and the champion.
Yeah, you want one voice telling you what to do. Or if you have got multiple voices, at least all telling you the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the job of the head coach.
Yeah.
So anyway, on to Zhang Weili. Yeah, she got it done. I don't know what they're going to do with her now. Two-time champ also. So we got Rose, a two-time champ, Zhang Weili, a two-time champ, Carla Esparza, a two-time champ. Interesting. That division is great. I don't know what to say about Carla, though. That's a weird one. That'll be one of the weirdest championship runs of all time, because the first championship ended when she got butchered by Joanna after beating a young Rose Namajunas, and then her second one, she got crushed by Zhang Weili, and that weird fight with Rose, and one of those ones for the history book that's just going to kind of be weird, I think.
Yeah, sort of.
Kudos to her. She's a champ for the rest of her life. They never take that back from her. But, we'll see what happens from here. And then to the big one, man. This is the one I was most excited for.
Yep, same.
The Poirier-Michael Chandler fight. What a weird fight. In a good and a bad way. It was back and forth. Chandler was fish hooking him. Did you see that shit?
Yeah. They showed a close-up of it as well.
And then he was hammer fisting him in the back of the head multiple times, clearly.
Oh, and tried spiking him on his head as well.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with Michael Chandler doing all this dirty shit. But, I mean, some of those are really dirty. Like, clear hammer fist directly to the back of the head multiple times.
Yeah.
And I was at the bar watching it across from the gym, and so I couldn't hear the commentary very well. I don't know if they shouted it out or anything like that.
I had it on mute for that one, so I don't know as well. Because some of it I didn't catch. Because I was doing, like, trying to sort my son out at the same time. So I'm like half watching that, half doing something else. But it was afterwards that Poirier was clearly unhappy at one point.
Yeah, and so, I don't know, that was a kind of a weird version of Michael Chandler. I thought he fought better. He was willing to wrestle when he needed to. He didn't get sucked into that constant slugfest like he did with Gaethje or Oliveira. And so it was good to see him using more of his well-rounded skills, but there was definitely some weird shit he was doing there. Did you see the picture of Poirier, like, breaking his nose?
Yeah.
And blood squirting out of it?
Super slow-mo of it's amazing.
Holy shit. If you have not seen that, go watch that. Poirier lands across right on his nose, and you just see blood spray out everywhere. And, Poirier got it done, but Chandler looked good. It's kind of like every Chandler fight.
Yep.
He looks really good in bursts, but then something happens. I don't know if it's a mental break.
Gas tank.
I think it's usually just technical issues.
Yeah.
He seems like a guy who, in the training room, is full-on athleticism, explosive. There's guys like that. There's guys, as trainers, I've seen them over the years. You see, generally there's two kinds of archetype of students that I see. You see the unathletically gifted ones that are very good problem solvers and are very attention detailed. These are the Ryan Halls type people, right? These are the people that don't have incredible Alexei Oleinik, right?
Yeah.
Not super athletes, but what they do, they're so technical at that because they pay such an attention to details that they can go very far in their career with not having the same premier level athleticism as some of these other guys. And then you see the freak athletes, the Yoel Romeros, the Michael Chandlers, these type of guys who just have insane athleticism, but that takes them really far. It can take them to the top of the sport. They can even become champions like that. But they just don't have the same technical skill as some of these other guys, and it's because they don't need to rely on it to win.
Yeah, and when they match up with someone who's the same level of athleticism as them, but technically better, they're like, oh, what's this? I've not encountered this before. What's happening?
Well, there's where I completely disagree with you. I think Michael Chandler is a much better athlete than Dustin Poirier.
But Poirier,
in terms of pure athleticism,
yeah,
sprinting, jumping, fucking clean and press. He can do standing backflips. He's like, you could put that guy in any sport, and I think he would do well. I don't know if that's true for Poirier. Poirier's definitely athletic. Like, make no mistake about it. He's a top-tier athlete. But Mike Chandler he's a freak.
Freak athlete.
He's a freak athlete, right? And you just never really see the same technical growth. Rarely. I won't say never. Georges St. Pierre, different example. He is a freak athlete, but supremely detail-oriented and technical.
Gordon Ryan as well.
Gordon Ryan, freak athlete. Extremely technical. So it doesn't. Those are the real god tier talents, right? The guys who have that, but still don't overly rely on it. In the training, they're working on bad positions and the technical ways to get out, not the explosive ways to get out, right? And so I think that's what happens with Chandler. That's why he gets finished sometimes, And that's also why he can be super dynamic and have crazy fights. So
I'll never forgive him for what he did to Tony Ferguson's face.
yeah, that's true. That's true, man. But he's had moments of brilliance, and but Poirier was just too good. You know, Chandler hurt him a couple times. He was doing good work in that second round. Poirier also some big mistakes. I just hate how he does this thing that as a wrestler and an MMA coach drives me insane. He did it against Islam. He did it against Oliveira, where they go in for takedowns and he does a deep wrap of the hips. Right, so he's like, "You're in on a double, and I'm reaching over you."
Yeah.
But completely ignoring taking inside position, cross-facing or underhooking or doing anything to actually create space. He's wrapping over and he's trying to almost like gut wrench. And it's not even a gut wrench. It's just really bad technique. And it's just his wrestling is...
Yeah, he's pulling them in rather than...
creating frames
rather than
space.
creating frames and pushing them away. He's actually pulling them into them, making it harder to get them off, not easier.
He needs to train his lightning reflex to as soon as people get inside, he's creating frames. He's underhooking. He's cross-facing. Like his reactions on some of these takedowns are they're so jiu-jitsu. They're so jiu-jitsu.
But his defensive jiu-jitsu is what won him the fight at the end. That was a beautiful combination. I don't know if you saw it. Again.
For sure.
Beautiful conversation.
You know who that's not going to work on? Islam Makhachev.
Yeah.
That is not going to work on. That's not going to make him a champion. There's no amount of jiu-jitsu Dustin Poirier can train between now and his fight with him, if it happens, that is going to make him be able to use his jiu-jitsu to stop Islam.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. The only way that he can beat Islam is by using footwork, good frames, and defensive wrestling. No amount of guard, no amount of whatever is going to stop that dude. It's just not going to happen. And if you even indulge that game, you're going to get fucked. Look what happened. He tried to guillotine Khabib. It was a good shot. It was probably the closest he's ever been to be. But guess what's going to happen with Islam? The same fucking thing. He's going to get his head out. Now he's on top of you. He's going to arm triangle you. He's going to take your back. I'm just thinking of that fight because I want Dustin Poirier to be the undisputed champion. I love Islam. I love Khabib, but fuck, I love Dustin Poirier. He's from where I'm from, like nearby where I'm from. He's a Louisiana kid. He's a good old Southern boy like me. And I just love him. He's blood and he's guts and he's violent and he's nice and he's fucking cool dude. And I love Islam and those guys too, but I just, whatever reason, I'm a Dustin Poirier fan and I just do not see a way in hell he beats Islam Makhachev.
No.
So that's what I'm thinking of with this fight. Can you go to the lightweight rankings? Who's ahead of him? It's just Oliveira now, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So that's the logical fight to make. Although Volkanovski's got the next one, so I don't know if they make Poirier wait or they try to squeeze in a fight between
McGregor.
now and then. I mean, McGregor again. I think Michael Chandler would be a better fight for Conor.
McGregor?
For Conor, yeah.
Yeah.
Tony Ferguson would be a better fight for Conor. Honestly, if we're being real.
Oh,
that's probably where
I
Conor
don't
should
think
come
McGregor
back.
wins a fight against Poirier. Let me be absolutely clear about that.
What about Tony? That's a better fight. Because he's been out, he broke his leg. He should get like a high-name, low top 10 type guy, not one of those world beaters that's in the top 5. He's just going to get fucked up again, and then he's useless.
Yeah.
Like he's going to be useless in terms of promotion, championship promotion. Always a Conor McGregor fight will sell, but it won't. He won't be in the championship talk. And if you burn him too quickly now after a leg break and after a knockout before that, and yeah, it's just not going to be a good usage of him. I don't think Tony would be good.
I would watch, Tony.
See Tony and McNuggets go at it finally after the years and years of shit talk. All right, so the rankings are coming up for whatever reason. It's taking ages. I'm pretty sure Oliveira is now number 1 and Poirier was number 2, and he just got that fight. So they're going to do the Volkanovski Islam fight in January or February? No.
Feb. Yeah.
So that fight's going to come up. Poirier is definitely going to wait, but that's not that long of a wait. Poirier can just wait like 2 months and then fight in the middle of next year with Islam. He needs to work on his wrestling, man, and his reactions, because Islam's grappling is scary. And we all know how that went with Khabib. I'm not saying Islam and Khabib are the same, but they are of the same cloth at the very least.
Why is the ranking so crap on the UFC?
Yeah, you were just there and go to the lightweight. Yeah. Oh, up.
No, but he's not giving it me for some reason.
Keep going. One more. There it is. Right there. Yeah, click that. So let's take a look at these top 5 in the division here.
No, that's what I mean. It's not giving me the...
Whatever, Jake. Anyway, we don't need to spend any more time of it. I'm certain that Oliveira's number one. So Poirier's the only person in like the top 5 coming off a win, I think.
Yeah.
Or the top 3 anyway. So that fight makes sense. But let's talk about Volkanovski and Islam Makhachev. We haven't talked about that. We didn't even get a chance to talk about Islam Makhachev.
Between us being away, we didn't actually even see each other after the Charles Oliveira Islam fight.
Which was a crazy fight. If you haven't seen it yet, you can go to my channel. I did a breakdown of it. Thank you all for watching that video and blowing it up. It's now the biggest video on my channel. It's got like 200,000 views, which is amazing. Again, I filmed it in like really quick, just trying to get out some good content because I know that a lot of the Team Khabib and Team Islam people follow my channel. So I always try to make sure I keep putting out good content for them. And I mean, I don't even know where to start with Islam, man. He just looks like an absolute world beater. He does look like Khabib 2.0. He does. He just straight up looks like that. He looks like Khabib with better striking.
Yeah,
and
I'm not saying scary thought.
Yeah, I'm not saying Khabib's striking is bad. I'm just saying that his looks better to me. He's got, I believe, one of the best striking differentials or striking defense in the history of the UFC in terms of stripes absorbed per minute.
Yeah.
Some of the fewest ever in the history of the UFC. Granted, he did get caught and knocked out one time. That can happen. I'm not discrediting that. This is somewhere where Khabib's legacy will always be slightly held in a different accord. But Islam can quickly change the narrative because Khabib, for the quality of his run, the only thing you can say against it is that he only defended the title twice. So, I mean, if Islam can break a record defending that lightweight title, if he can do it for years, he can, without question, create a legacy that is completely his own and in alignment with Khabib. He is that good. I mean, he hurt Oliveira on the feet. It's just Oliveira was not anywhere in the fight. There was nothing he could do. There was no point where he...
Yeah, he didn't look in it like he didn't look like he was going to win it.
His timing was off.
Yeah.
Islam's timing was perfect. He was doing the perfect amount of striking and grappling, and the jiu-jitsu and the wrestling and the submissions and the takedowns and the striking was just all beautiful. And now he's got the current pound-for-pound number one, Volkanovski. Everybody, including me and Jake, are kind of writing Volkanovski out here, man. Is there a path to victory in your head for Volkanovski, Jake?
So I've just pulled up his record to see if there's anything on there that gives a bit of a clue about how he do it. I mean, the problem is there isn't a fighter like Islam to say, oh yeah, well last time we matched up against someone like that. But if you look through it, I mean, Jesus Christ, look at who he's beaten. Holloway.
I believe his only loss, if I'm not mistaken, is at welterweight. I believe his loss. You check this for me, Jake. Go all the way down.
Okay, keep scrolling.
I think Volkanovski's only loss in his entire career was 2 divisions higher than where he's at right now. Can you go to the right?
I can try.
Oh, come on. It must say what weight that is.
Maybe if I hit that.
Welterweight. Boom.
Okay, welterweight.
Tapology, you the man. So, look at that, dude. So, that means that he's pretty much undefeated, okay? This is 2 weight classes higher.
Yeah.
He's pretty much undefeated. So, that's a weight class above, in case you don't know, where even Islam is. And Volkanovski used to be a big boy. I think he can put on the weight.
Of him where he's just one of those dudes who's just square.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He seems like a dude who could carry that frame.
Yep.
Like he's not like some of these guys when you see him move up in weight class and you're just like Izzy.
Yeah, he didn't look anything like
Izzy's because Izzy's a medium-sized to lighter-sized middleweight relative to the UFC middleweights. I feel like Volkanovski could put on a frame on him, man. He just seems like a thick dude.
Yeah.
He seems like he'll be able to carry that weight. But even with that said, it's really tough for me to imagine a path to victory for Volkanovski.
So the best wrestler he's fought appears to be Chad Mendes, but that's old Chad Mendes, not Chad Mendes in his prime. I mean, he's beat the who's who in these divisions.
Oh, he's beat everybody. There's a reason why he's pound for pound number one. Just Islam is just... Fuck, he's good.
So
he's good.
How does Volkanovski win then?
I think here's where I could say that Volkanovski may have an advantage. Footwork, angles.
It's a tough one, eh?
And that's probably it.
Yeah.
It's not wrestling. It's not submissions. We can rule that out.
Yeah, he's probably the better striker of the two, but not by enough to be dominant.
Yes. And he will have to mitigate those other areas of the game, like the clinching, the wrestling. And he has to do that and still score more, right? So here's the thing. Like with MMA, if you're fighting Khabib, you're fighting Islam, you're fighting some of these guys, they're really competent strikers. But the in-between stuff, meaning the clinches that they do in between the combinations, when they pin you up against the fence, the defending of the takedowns, all of that stuff. Here's what I will say 100% with the Team Khabib guys, Islam and Khabib. Nobody has ever beat them in the in-between, ever. Nobody has ever clinched better than them. Nobody has ever done anything except defend takedowns against them. That in-between stuff, people have periodically like outstruck them in spurts if that's all they did. But the in-between, the clinching, the tripping that they do, the submissions, when they get on top, nobody does that better than them, the in-between. If they stand outside in a kickboxing match, maybe, but they are not going to do that.
They're not going to do that then. So.
And you have to win more in that area because Islam's going to pin you up against the fence. And good luck with that. Good luck with that.
It's that you've seen it in like past fights as well, where then the other fighter's just in that miserable position. They're just losing round after round after round. There's nothing they can do about it. And when they the next round stood up facing him across the cage, they're in such a panic not to get taken down that they forget their own game and aren't doing anything.
Yeah, exactly. And it's because they're overwhelmed and insecure about what's happening, right? You get to the point where you get, what is kind of known as like a defensive shell, right? You just get in the shell. Like you're trying, but everything you do gets countered, or everything you do, they're one step ahead of you. So your ability to commit to the strikes or the take, you're just frozen up because any action is punished, right?
Yeah.
This is fighting, okay? Any mistake you make, you're getting punished for. So the people are like, it's even the people who are talking shit about Izzy in his fights or Pereira in this fight in the moments where he was losing. They're like, throw more volume. And it's like, yeah, that's fucking easier said than done. Okay?
It works great until the other guy's actually throwing back at you like, oh no, I'm not doing this. I'll just shell up.
Yeah, because it's risky.
Yeah.
And it's easy to say, just like, go out and do it. Just go out on your shield or whatever. Yeah. Say that when concussion is your possible outcome, right? When getting knocked out, staring up at the ceilings in front of Madison Square Garden in front of 20,000 people is your fate. You know what I mean? Like, it's easy to say that. It's very hard to do. And I don't know. So for this Volkanovski Makhachev fight, it's very just tough for me to imagine a scenario where Volk can win, which is not really fair because he's been so dominant.
Yeah, he's so good, but
everybody's
so good. People
what is he, a 3-1 underdog?
Yeah.
I think I saw the odds today. I think he's a 3-1 underdog against Islam.
It's worth a bet.
If you're a Volkanovski fan, yeah. I mean, Volkanovski has had a legendary run. But these Team Khabib dudes, Islam and Khabib, they just seem like Volkanovski's built different, but you're dealing with a weight disadvantage.
Yeah.
That's the number one thing. And a level of grappling that we've just never seen before in the sport. Islam Makhachev tapped the greatest submission artist in the history of MMA in about 1 second when he squeezed his head. Okay? He put the squeeze on for 1 second after he passed, and the greatest submission artist in the history of MMA tapped in that quick.
Yep.
The fucking squeeze on these guys, right? Oh my goodness. I mean, how do you deal with that? Whew.
Well, Volkanovski's going to have to figure it out.
Whew.
I don't know. But I've written him off in fights before.
Me too.
That's all I'll say.
And he's always proven me wrong.
And he's always proven me wrong. So
you know who I've never written off in a fight? Islam Makhachev.
Yeah.
I never thought he was going to lose. So far. Khabib, the same way. The only person I ever thought would beat Khabib was maybe Tony Ferguson in his prime.
Yeah.
But I still would have picked Khabib. But I thought I was willing to give him the chance.
When they were supposed to fight and then it fell to pieces because of the sunglasses and the cable, that would have been the most dangerous fight Khabib ever had.
Because Tony's run at that point was just incredible. Just incredible. We've talked about that on this podcast. Ad nauseum. Yeah. So anyway, man, Islam Makhachev is just a dark presence over the MMA landscape at the moment, and just a fucking scary talent. And he's younger than Khabib. He's been healthier than Khabib. Khabib had years off where he was injured.
Yeah.
You know, and he seems like he's gearing up for a long run. So What an amazing athlete. If you want to see my video, you can go to check out my channel and check out the breakdown. I break down the whole fight finish of the sequence and how he submitted him with the arm triangle and cool stuff like that. A lot of people in the comments, who I tried to respond to you guys, a lot of people in the comments said that I guess they're new MMA fans, right? They said they didn't know what happened. Like they're seeing it and they're like, oh, that was crazy. What was that? So hopefully that gave you some good stuff. And please, guys, like, comment, and subscribe my shit if you like it. All right. What's next?
I didn't see these ones. Oh, well, I saw the...
Ugh, I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, I'm not talking about it. It's too depressing.
Frankie Edgar and Gutierrez. Gutierrez, nice job, man, but please don't beat up any more old people. It's not fun.
Yeah.
Not fun to watch. Flying knee, man.
Straight up the middle.
Frankie Edgar's weakness are shots coming from down below, right up the middle. That's what Ortega knocked him out with the uppercut.
Yep.
And a knee. And then who else knocked him out with a flying knee? Was it the Korean Zombie?
Yeah, maybe. There was one as well, the famous one, where he looked like he was absolutely dead on his feet and came back. Who was that against?
Gray Maynard.
Gray Maynard. Yeah, that was the similar shot, I think, that got him.
Sorry, I don't want to do this, but I can't not, because Gutierrez did good work. Can you click Frankie Edgar? I just want to see if he got knocked out with another knee. Is that his second knee he's got knocked out with? Because it seems like, first of all, Frankie was getting tagged even up to that point. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, you just do not have fast twitch
at 41.
At 41 as a bantamweight anymore. It doesn't. I don't care who you are. It just goes away. And because you don't need it to completely fall off the shelf, you just need to lose 1% of it. You have to lose 1%. If you lose 1% of your fast twitch speed when you're fighting somebody in their 20s or their 30s and they're quick, no amount of technique and training is going to be able to overcome that, because every punch they throw is a question of millimeters and seconds in timing. And even if you just lose, if you lose probably 0.2% over strikes, hundreds of strikes thrown per round or 100 strikes thrown per round, that just adds up in a way that involves you as a 40-year-old man waking up unconscious staring at the UFC lights. It's happened to so many. It's at the top, man. It's at the very top. It's one of his recent ones. Chan Sun Jung, that was punches, is it? That was punches. Was that an uppercut? Marlon Vera. Okay, front knee. Corey Sandhagen, flying knee. Right. Marlon Vera, front kick, right up the middle. Okay, here's my point. This is a weakness in Frankie Edgar's style because, yeah, he's slower and everything, but he's got this bobbing and weaving, dipping and rolling and dropping his head down below the center line to hit the body, and a lot involves linear as opposed to lateral, right? Yeah. Linear head changes. So he's going down and up instead of going laterally side to side. And there's advantages and disadvantages to both, right? If you go down, and up and down, it's really nice against like straight shots, right? Whereas more lateral stuff is good against hooking shots, right? Or is weak against hooking shots, rather. And if Frankie Edgar got knocked out with 2 flying knees, a front kick, and an uppercut, they are all coming from the same direction. They're coming low, boom, right up the middle. Low, boom, right up the middle. So people have just... You're Frankie Edgar. You've had how many fights? People can figure it out. You got knocked out with an uppercut. Okay, you got knocked with a flying knee and a front kick. Guess what I'm drilling? Flying knees and uppercuts. So people figured him out, and he's old, and he's a fucking legend.
Yeah.
And make no mistake about that, that will never change. That guy is blood and guts. One of the greatest champions of all time.
Did he officially retire at the end of the fight? Yeah, good.
He's done. If he hasn't, then Dana White should just do him a favor and burn his contract.
Yeah.
Because he's too much of a legend to go out like that. And he's got to be done. This is 4 in a row, I think, for him. We can't have Frankie Edgar approach BJ Penn territory, everybody.
Yeah, he depressed me just looking at his record.
Tony Ferguson, Frankie Edgar. It seems like, Jake, every 5 years, we go through this cycle of legends just getting butchered by young up-and-comers. I really wish the UFC would stop doing this. Anderson Silva, Frankie Edgar, BJ Penn, Tony Ferguson. I mean, the list could definitely go on.
Even Cerrone's been thrown to the wolves a few times.
Yep. I mean, it's gonna keep happening because Father Time is undefeated. And it's probably going to happen to 80% of the champions that we love and watch right now.
5 years from now, we'll be having the same conversation, different names.
Yep, and that's the nature of the beast. And moving on, Dan Hooker looked good finally. It's been a while for Dan Hooker.
Yeah, he's had a rough ride.
Granted, he's fought
some top level opponents in that rough ride, though. So fair enough.
This is the first down step in competition a little bit for him, and weird fight.
Yeah, I didn't see this one, but I heard it was wacky.
He did 8 Imanari rolls. He just kept Imanari rolling, and then Hooker would hit him with a body teep, and he would go down, and then he would get up, and then he'd Imanari roll. He almost had him with a knee bar heel hook combo in the first round. He was pretty deep on it. And so you could see he was trying to go to the well, but it was too much, and he had nothing for Hooker on the feet. But it's good to see Dan Hooker get a good win because he seems like a top dude.
Yeah.
Seems like a fun guy, nice guy.
Oh, what he sacrificed as well, just to be able to keep fighting when there's all that mad shit in COVID and stuff like that.
Which is partly responsible for his slope.
Yeah.
For his down slope. It's good to see him get a win. He needed that. He needed that confidence boost. That's pretty much the whole main card, right?
Yeah, that's the
one more big one we're shouting out. Ryan Spann.
Oh, so I didn't see the fight, but I saw the knockout.
Dominic Reyes out brutally with a jab, man. With a jab. It was crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, Reyes was stepping in and he was walking full on into the shot, but Ryan Spann, first of all, I'm not trying to throw any accusations out there, but this motherfucker's physique has changed a lot. He's got traps up to his ears. He used to be kind of like super athletic, but a little skinny, but clearly strong, a different kind of body type. And then you just look at him. Can you Google? Just check this out. See if anybody agrees with me. I'm not starting rumors. I'm not saying he's on stuff. He could have just completely changed his strength and conditioning. But go to the Ryan Spann today and take a look at his physique, and then look at his physique from a few fights ago. Okay.
Is that him in the ring today?
Yeah. So still, this is today, right? Now go back to his. This is from today, right? Can you check and make sure?
Let's see. Oh, sorry, I'm just trying to find one from today. There must be one from the fight he just had.
Yeah, okay, see there?
There.
That's him when he came into the UFC. Okay, if you can put, is that on the screen?
Yeah.
Jake? So this is him when he came into the UFC. Now, athletic, a little bit of weight, maybe he's in between camps, whatever. Now look at him from today. His physique has just, is that today?
Not sure.
No, that's Anthony Smith.
I can't really see.
Just go to news or whatever, because it probably will show just a picture of him from the Dominic Reyes fight.
Pictures.
Just put first Dominic Reyes. Yeah, I mean, it's his traps. It's his traps that are up to his ears. That's always a weird sign when you see the traps grow like that. Such a weird muscle to train if you're.
That one is sort of stood over.
Go down a little bit.
It's not great.
Yeah, look at that one on the. There's not a great. We need a weigh-in. Anyway, you can see it a little bit here. You can click that one.
This one?
No, the one to the left.
Oh. Crap.
We're going on a long tirade here just for a picture. I'm sorry.
It's not even showing it. Oh, that's annoying.
Oh my God! All right, everybody.
Right, I give in.
Point is, if you agree, go look it up for yourself because we spent way too long trying to figure this out. Anyway, his physique looked totally different. His timing, man, is just incredible. Everything Dominic Reyes threw, Spann was able to move his head off the center line and counter him. This guy is legit. He has crazy power, super fast twitch, a suspiciously amazing looking physique now, borderline suspicious. I'm not gonna say he's doing anything because I don't know, but he just has looks great now. So I also want to shout out Ryan Spann because he's now in the top 7 or top 8 of the light heavyweight division. That division is getting a little juicy with some young bloods, man. Jamal Hill too. He's another young blood in that division who's looking really good. All right. We covered all of the UFC today. We covered Fight Circus, which is quite literally exactly that. We covered Volkanovski and Islam Makhachev. And is there anything else that we wanted to shout out today, Jake?
Is there a one coming up?
Oh, right. I will be doing... So this could be interesting. I'll tease you guys a little bit. I spoke with...
There is. Lineker.
Oh, right. No, that's the old one. That's October.
Oh.
That's past events.
I can't remember.
So I was talking to Rainier de Ritter's PR team about sponsorships and whatever, and I was like, well, it's not in Singapore, but I told them, can I get Rainier de Ritter on the podcast? Rainier de Ritter is the 2-division current 1 championship champion. He's the champion at light heavyweight and he's the champion at middleweight. And I'm going to the Philippines on December 3rd to do the judging there at 1. And I believe he's fighting on that card. And I spoke to his PR team about doing a podcast, and they're totally into it. It's going to be a little bit different because Jake won't be there and it will be overseas and I'll be busy. I can't 100% say that I'm going to be able to swing it, and it all depends on how the fight goes and so many things. But I might have a juicy podcast coming at you with one of the best talents outside of the UFC in the world, without question, the 2-division champ, Rainier de Ridder. So that'd be a pretty good card. Oh, this is the next one fight. You have
this is coming
it's a
up
good
this
one.
weekend.
Next week.
Christian Lee.
Yeah, it's a banger. It's a banger. Christian Lee back again, fighting this time for the welterweight championship.
Christian Lee loves belts.
He does, and I'm in for it. I'm down for it. He's fighting Abasov, who's the current welterweight champion. Oh God, how dare I even try to pronounce that? Abasov, the current champion at welterweight, a beast of a man. And this is going to be a big challenge for Christian Lee. Go to Abasov, go to his record, and also Rotang and Joseph Lassiri fighting on the same card. That will be a good fight, especially because Joseph Lassiri lately has looked amazing. I can't pick him over Rotang. I still think Rotang will win that fight. But Joseph Lassiri is a blood and guts fighter. Even if he doesn't win, he's going to bring the fight.
So there's no way I can spell.
That's okay. We check him out on Tapology to get a good look at this. Because the guy that Christian Lee's fighting is really, really good. I believe he beat... Oh, here we go. We got it. Oh, back up.
Wait, give me a second.
Okay, so he lost. Right.
I lost to de Ridder.
He lost to de Ridder. That's right. Because you have to keep in mind that the welterweight division and one is the middleweight division normally. So he lost to Rainier de Ridder, the guy that I hope I'm going to have a podcast with. I'm really going to do my best to swing that for you guys. So he lost to Rainier, but that was for the. Can you go to the right? What belt was that for? That was for the middleweight strap, I think. Can you just click that plus? Because he's the current.
Light heavyweight.
Right, because he's the current welterweight champ.
Yeah, which is
what Christian's fighting him for. Right. So the same thing happened there, right? Abasov is dealing with a much bigger man, and Rainier de Ridder, who's got really, really good overall skills. So he beat Sebastian Kazakhstan. I think that's who he beat for the title, who was the previous champion. He beat Nakashima. He beat Yushin Okami. He beat one of the guys that I used to hang out with in Malaysia, Aguilan. Really, really good. He did lose to Luis Santos, though. Where's he? I haven't seen him in ages. Is he still fighting in one?
Not sure.
Luis Santos? He fought Ben Askren back in the day.
Back in the day when Ben Askren was good.
And fighting in one.
Yeah.
So Christian Lee versus Abasov. This should be a really, really nice fight. All right, we can go to the co-main event, which is going to be Rotang versus Joseph Lassiri in a flyweight Muay Thai World Championship fight. It'll be a great fight. Joseph Lassiri, I will say, he had a slump when he first came to one. I believe he lost like 3 in a row.
Yeah.
And then he went on a crazy win streak all the way to get to the championship once he went to his proper weight class. And if you want to see a fucking banger of a fight, go watch Joseph Lassiri and Jonathan Haggerty. Amazing fight. Amazing fight. Haggerty, it was a close fight. Both guys really were active. Haggerty jumps up in the air and hits him with that fucking Muay Baran downward elbow to the top of the skull and drops him.
Yeah. One
of the craziest elbow strikes I've ever seen. It was one of those Ong Bak elbows, right, where he jumps in and boom, spines him right on top of the head. And really, really great fun fight to go watch that. And him and Rotang is going to be
great.
That's
going to be an amazing fight.
Assuming Rotang keeps his shit together and makes weight. He came in his last...
Maybe he'll just not fancy it again. Be like, no,
I don't know. I'm wondering
I'm going to weigh in at a different weight class and fight someone easier. Is that all right, boss?
Here's Lassiri's advantage. Rotang is trying to switch to MMA. Rotang has missed weight a couple times. Seems like there's something going on with him.
Yeah, something in the background.
Some background stuff.
Yep.
It could be he's getting money now. It could be Thai managers who are notoriously corrupt. It could be he's training too much MMA. It could be he's making money now, so he's more focused on other stuff. This is something that's in the corner of Lassiri, because I think Lassiri is taking it very seriously.
Laser focus for this fight, and we can't say that Rotang is.
Yes, because he missed weight a lot, twice.
Yeah.
It's weird. You know, one's totally made a superstar of this guy, and for him to just miss weight a couple times and pull out of fights it's not a good look. Bibiana Fernandez is back. He must be about 40 years old, too. He's fighting Stephen Lohman from the Philippines. Cosmo.
Dropped off a little bit after the first two.
Cosmo Alexandre is back after he took Sage Northcutt's soul.
Oh, God, yeah. That was...
Juan Cervantes, I do not know him. And then we got a pretty good fight between Kevin Bellingham and Kim Jae-woon. That should be a really nice fight, too, at bantamweight. Keep going down. Is there anything else? what's the
Haggerty.
Haggerty. Oh, nice. Haggerty's fighting on the lead card against Vladimir Kuzmin. Nice. Who else do we have here? Keep going down. Danielle Kelly, Liam Nolan. Okay, cool. Great card. Right at the end of the week here. Next
Saturday
week.
morning for us, I think.
Yes.
9 a.m.
I don't know if I'm working it or not. They haven't told me. Which, to be fair, they usually don't tell me until the week of the fight.
Yeah.
But if we don't, maybe we can do a live stream. Is that still on the table? Can we do that again?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so we can try to plan it, a live stream, or I'll be at the fights and then we'll break it down on the podcast the next day. Right?
Exciting stuff.
Where are we at, Jake? Are we cooking here? Hour plus? What do we do?
Yeah, something like that. Can't see it.
All right, man. I think we can finish up here. I can't think if there's anything else to talk about. It's been so long since we've done one. We didn't talk about Jake Paul and Anderson Silva.
Because it's boring.
I don't know if we should. We should just preserve the spirit of Anderson Silva and my memories of him when I was 16 and he was crushing everybody.
Yeah, that's the way I want to remember him too.
Although I will say, what about Jake Paul and what's the guy's name? The bald dude who is like super viral right now.
Andy Tate?
No, come on. Andrew Tate. Yes, Andrew Tate. Yes, thank you.
That man has the weirdest accent I've ever heard.
He's just a weird guy. Yeah. I find him compelling too. I don't know why. Like, a lot of what he says is just bro shit, right? It's just like bro stuff.
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of like scammy language and with his fitness groups and
shady.
But because he rails against PC culture, I also think that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Right? And he was a good kickboxer. That fight would be more interesting to me. Andrew Tate and Jake Paul would be more interesting to me. And I think that's the fight they're looking at doing.
Yeah. I don't know. I saw some mad headline today saying, Jake Paul wants an MMA fight against Paddy Pimblett. I'm like, that is not going to happen because he will destroy you, mate.
With grappling?
Yeah,
for sure. Although, Jake's way bigger than Paddy. Well, not if Paddy's fat.
Yeah, not if Paddy takes some time off.
Which Paddy's going to be fat, probably.
Did you see, oh my God, talking about fat people who become skinny overnight. Did you see Ricky Hatton in the shape he was in for his rematch?
What happened with that? What is he on? And what commission is approving that
where can
fight?
I get some of that from?
Yeah, I know. He looked amazing.
Yeah.
Even on the pad work.
Yeah.
Is that little video of him doing pad work? Ricky Hatton coming back. What is he?
44.
44?
I think.
Who's he fighting? Do you remember? Can we pull it up real quick? Ricky Hatton.
I'm scared to because I don't know if it's happened because I'm going to try and watch it later.
Oh, we should definitely watch it. We should. I'd love to watch Ricky Hatton, especially if he looks decent. 44 is still okay if it's the right matchup. The worst part is when you get like a Frankie Edgar type situation, right, where he's still fighting top guys. Ricky Hatton returns to for exhibition with click that one, the Sky Sports. Bahera, that's what it was. Bahera.
Okay, I don't know what happened though. So
can you go down? Should we look?
No.
You don't want to know yet?
No.
Is it over?
I think so, yeah. I think it was last night.
It's exhibition though. I mean, it's not like on the permanent record.
Look at him.
Looks
How's
good.
He got in that?
He looked better in the other video, but
yeah,
still good for boxing legend Marco Antonio Bahera to arena.
See, this is something the UFC needs to do and get on if they want to make money. Like Hatton's come back and fought an exhibition
Legend
fight.
Circuit exhibitions.
Made bang. UFC, Legend Circuit, exhibition fights. Or like
40-year-olds cannot fight anyone other than 40-year-olds. Yeah. Just make a 45-year-old league, like 40 to 45.
I'd even go down to like 38 to save some people 2 years of getting the shit beat out of them.
Something like that, right? And you can make them exhibitions, or you could even just make them regular fights.
Yeah. If
they're fighting people their own age.
Own age, own level. You'd make a fortune, UFC.
Yeah, it's like, why is BJ Penn fighting Yair Rodriguez? Why are we doing that?
Yeah.
What?
Let him fight Frankie Edgar.
Yes.
Seems more fair.
Why is Anderson Silva fighting Israel Adesanya? I mean, thankfully, he didn't get knocked out badly in that fight, but it's just like, you can utilize these guys. I guess they're keeping their business model of like, we are this.
Yeah.
And this is the top tier shit. There's no good fights. There's no easy fights. And to be fair, you could be dealing with Errol Spence and Crawford. Or you could be why are we having Tyson Fury fight fucking is it Dillian White that he's fighting again?
Yep.
Why? So I will take I will take this any day. I will take legends decapitated because ultimately they're agreeing to it. Than the shit show that is boxing when we're not having Errol Spence fight Bud Crawford and we're not having Ryan Garcia fight Tank or anybody, and we're not having Usyk fight Fury. I'm just done with it. And yet I'll watch all of the next ones.
Yeah.
That's boxing's business model. I hate this, but I guess I'll watch it.
I'm really angry at your boxing, but all right, I'll watch your pay-per-view.
Yeah. All right, man. Let's finish up here. I think we're at a beautiful resting spot.
It's a beautiful. So our finishing point is whoever sorted Ricky Hatton out with whatever secret sauce they're giving him. Can you send some my way?
Yeah. We're both getting to that age. I just turned 34. Everybody. I hear that mid-30s is when it starts to go downhill, and I can attest to that.
Oh, you're good. For 4 years, 38's when the wheels start falling off.
Is that what it was for you?
Yep.
Yeah, mid to late 30s, depending on you. I don't know. I've lived pretty hard. Mine might go down earlier. All right, everybody. Jake, the producer. Thank you, bro.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate you and everything you do. And I'm sorry, everybody. I actually had a podcast with Major recorded last week. I did it when Jake was away. But I'm so bad at sound editing and sound equalizing and everything that I don't know if it's releasable. I'm going to see if Jake can save the day. I'm going to give him the audio and see if he can make it. And if he does, I'll just release that podcast and put a different number on it or whatever. It's just Major and I talking after the Islam Charles fight. So I'll try to release that if I can. Otherwise, thank you all for subscribing. If you're a first-time listener, I appreciate you and I love you. You can follow me at Lukas Leasure on Instagram, Facebook, or, of course, on the channel. Thank you all for watching. This is the Stronghold Podcast.